Oh, damn. Okay, I didn't even have an intro. We are live. Let me get this pinned up. If you are part of the Clipper community, we do have an active campaign. So feel free to join that campaign. If you're watching this live, go ahead and grab any clips, post them, get paid. Simple as that. So let me just update this Clipper campaign, and then we're gonna hop right in. Joined here today by Zach, founder, CEO. I don't know if you have position or anything yet.
Both of those.
Both of those. So founder, CEO of Ag Market, which I'm excited to learn more about. I have been fucking awful at prediction markets. I don't think I'm alone in. I think a lot of people suck at prediction markets. Like, it's a huge buzzword right now. Everybody's getting into it, but like, I don't think anybody. I haven't found the sauce, right? Like, I see a lot of those posts on social media of people who are like, "Oh, I made this prediction market bot and I made $5 million in 2 days," and I'm like, "All right, this is just bullshit at this point." Like, I can't. There's no way in hell I'm believing that to be true. So yeah, it's I'm excited to learn, sort of what you're building, and export retweet this post. All right, cool. Let me get this saved real quick on the campaign side. Bam. Okay, cool. Campaign's updated. But yeah, I'm excited to learn more. I'm excited to learn. I know obviously you've been a builder in crypto for several years, over, what, 2 cycles now, almost 3 cycles now. So
4 years, so have seen it all.
yeah, so I always like to start off these conversations just super laid back, super chill, and more so just like founder story. For me, that's what I get like the greatest inspiration from, is learning about other people building. I don't think we have enough builders in crypto. I think we need more, and we need better builders and more qualified builders. So I think you have a really great story. I don't know even this past the surface of it. So yeah, I'm excited to. Is Faded single asking for a friend? Guys, what the hell? Why is chat asking if I'm single? You guys are crazy. GM Russ Frankie. What's going on, guys? I am not answering that question. Okay, that's a setup if I ever saw one. But anyhow, shout out to Zach. Official introduction now. Founder, CEO of Ag Market, as well as Snag Solutions. We're going to learn a little bit more about his background in crypto, his story. Uncle Fade, bro, why? I hate this chat. They call me Unk. But anyhow, we're gonna learn more about Zach's story, how he got here, where did Ag Market come from. I think founder stories are some of the most inspiring things to learn, and it can inspire a lot of you guys, either watching the clips or watching live, even to eventually build your own products and stuff. So, Zach, welcome. What's going on? I'm so excited to have you here and to learn more about not only you, but obviously Ag Market as well too, which we're going to dive into.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Faded. Super excited to chat ag today. And actually, before I go to founding story, we'll just say I so relate on the prediction markets front. I'm a bit of a degenerate sports gambler, and as prediction markets started to hit the mainstream, was incredibly excited to jump in and not lose so much to the book in order to bet on my favorite games. And it was actually over the holidays, I had a little bit of free time for the first time, and I really tried to jump in and start placing some trades. And it was when I started to really compare the fees across Robinhood, Kalshi, and the sports books that I was trading on previously, that I realized that prediction markets in their current state are actually not meaningfully better. Like, they've solved a lot of problems around transparency, ability to sell trades, mid game, mid event. But the fees are very representative of what sports books charge, and what's been causing folks to lose their shirts gambling for decades now. So really excited to build a bit better solution with that.
Sorry, was it? If you heard any like gremlin noises in the background, that's my dog. I have a Frenchie who makes really weird noises. But no, definitely relate to that. Being in the crypto space, especially once you get into, but being in the crypto space, like once you kind of handle payments and transactions, you realize how much of a freaking racket it is. Like, Even with Clipper, right? Most of them, I would say 70-80% of my invoicing for launching clipping campaigns is in fiat. And then obviously Clipper is like getting paid out in crypto. So between waiting 1 to 2 business days on a traditional bank and then paying MoonPay 5 to 6%, MoonPay 5
That's
to
a
6%.
racket.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're an early startup and you want to keep your margins very lean in order to kind of, further solidify your PMF. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. And, it's only going to be a matter of time between builders like yourself, obviously in like the prediction market space, basically say, you know what? I'm going to build a better solution. I'm going to find an edge. I don't have an edge. I'm going to find an edge. And I think for me, I realized that with like meme coins as well too. Like early meme coins, I've been trading meme coins since 2017 around like the ETH and BSC shit coins back in the day. And honestly, it took me like before it became super popular, right after the NFT crash, I was like, well, I'm just going to get smoked on this anyways. I'm just going to become friends with all the deployers straight up. And I've already been very transparent about that over the last few years. And like, it's a rigged game. If you're going in as a retail trader, 9 times out of 10, you're 9.5 times out of 10, you're going to get smoked. You're just going to get cooked. So it's inspiring, to basically crypto solves a lot of problems and then it creates 10 more. And I think that's where prediction markets are right now. And I think even the largest prediction markets in the world will admit that. I mean, Polymarket and Kalshi just opened up, what is it, $20-30 million fund just for prediction market products. So
we're early.
Yeah, we're early.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of like NFT Twitter 2021 vibes, which is a much more fun place to be than the rest of crypto Twitter these days. So having fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. But I know before Ag Market, you built Snag Solutions and you've worked with literally some of the biggest companies in crypto. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to find you and discover you through Ag Market, this new product that you've built. But for anyone who doesn't know, sort of like the OG lore, the OG story, how did you get involved with crypto? What got you into, because it's like a rabbit hole. I think what ends up happening is most people have like normal jobs, normal lives, and then something changes and then it's never the same after that. So
yeah. So background even ahead of crypto was early team at DoorDash. So my co-founder and I jumped out 2021, but we had about 6-7 years of experience there building the early restaurant product, the ads platform, the pickup product, and a bunch of other stuff that was foundational to helping us scale early. He actually builds stuff. I figure out what to build and then go sell it. But from that experience, building, marketplaces at scale really felt like the extraction of marketplace business models and the value capture by Web 2 businesses was too much. In the case of DoorDash, that meant, shaving profits from restaurants, which was really my job. And while I'm proud of what we did there, I think there's a better version of the internet where every early participant, user, et cetera, can benefit. And while the Web3 that I kind of red pilled in and jumped into to help build full time is not really materialized in the way I thought it would, I still have complete confidence that we're on our way. It's really just now that we're seeing the first 2 breakout use cases of consumer apps in stablecoins and prediction markets that have already onboarded, more users in the last year than in the decade previous. So, just continuing to grind away. In terms of my own like personal origin story, I guess I came in through NFTs in particular, at least as a consumer. I have a good buddy who was pitching me on why I should buy an ape at a kind of hang in Sayulita a few years ago. And I said, oh, well, that's really cool. Okay, it has utility. Like, what's the yacht club element? He was like, oh, no, you just put like a pixel on the art wall. Like, that's the utility right now. I was like, okay, that's lame, kept moving. And then it was actually when they did the Bored Ape Yacht Club first Ape Fest in New York and actually, had everyone on the yacht that I had pretty insane FOMO, and I bought an ape right then. Didn't get to attend that one, but have been part of kind of some of the core NFT community since. Own way too much Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin, way underwater there. And then, have pivoted progressively from launching a white label NFT marketplace. We supported folks like Pudgy Penguins, Chimpers, ApeCoin on that side, to realizing that no one needed an NFT marketplace, and building Snag solutions into the leading token distribution, point program, and incentives product for brands. So on that side, we're now working with folks like OpenSea, previously OpenSea prior to them winding down their points campaign, Igloo Company, Wallet Connect, and a lot of other core infrastructure in the space.
No, that's incredible. OG Ape in the house. That's you know what it is? I think the difference with like early NFTs, right, is like, bro, the IRL element. Before we went live, I was asking like, yo, are you going to Miami, whatever? And I think the IRL element of NFTs is part of what led to that like bull cycle. At least like it threw fuel to the fire. Like it got things pushed and like moving so fast. And I think it's because it created all this FOMO. It's all these private parties, and you have to own this JPEG to get in there. And all of these famous celebrities are owning these assets and posting them on social media. It was like a hypermania that we've never seen. And for anybody that missed the NFT cycle, like either just completely missed it or just honestly wasn't, you weren't in the space yet. It pales. Meme coin cycle pales in comparison to the levels of euphoria that was going on. I recently tweeted actually this super old school pic. Oh God. Remember Hate Beast? Remember the Hate Beast mint?
Yeah, right? Remember as well, actually.
Of course. But do you remember that girl from the timeline? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I tweeted that picture the other day. And I'm like, bro, like you guys have no idea. You think meme coins were crazy? This chick literally tattooed an ape on her butt cheek, posted it on the timeline, and still didn't get a whitelist. Like that was just a completely different time. Completely different time. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting that like a lot of the core NFT community never left. They're still here, and they end up becoming founders. They end up becoming VCs. They end up becoming builders. I'm very curious on like the Snag solution front. Not to go like too into that, but it is fascinating, right? Like the fact that you've worked with Igloo, OpenSea, etc. I guess there's been a little bit off topic again, but it's within the meta of like what everybody's talking about right now. Do you think there's like a day where NFTs come back? What will bring that resurgence? Obviously, you work on incentive programs that get people, continually involved within NFTs. So maybe that's not the problem. Like, where did things go wrong? And like, does it get back? Like, does it ever fix itself?
Yeah, so there's two sides of this. Like one, hopefully we're seeing a bit of a resurgence right now. It's funny, like Bored Apes is pivoting back to IRL, and floor prices are rallying as a result. Not to like not knock their whole other side investment or any of the other digital products that folks are building, but meme coins are communities, and NFTs are communities with real skin in the game, tightness of community size, collaboration, etc. And I think they're fundamentally much more fun than meme coins. Like folks in meme coins, they're like, oh, I'm in the trenches. They're grinding out profits. Like I don't know if folks are actually having fun there. And I think that's a huge piece of what drew me to prediction markets, is like want to have fun building again and having a blast doing it so far.
No, it makes perfect sense. I think the fun element cannot be understated. I think from a product standpoint, from a community standpoint, it's something every builder should be focused on, is like, how do you make this fun? I used to say 2 years ago, year and a half to 2 years ago, I said, distribution will be the final moat, right? Because with the rapid development of AI, products and technology is going to be more and more replicable. And that's only going to increase with time. That's only going to get faster and faster and faster. So something that took maybe 6 months to a year to build is now going to take maybe a few days, a few weeks, or a month or two. So, and then now, right, as far as distribution being the final moat, well, I haven't said this, but people like myself and hundreds of other people are going to destroy that as well too. Now it's going to be democratized, and then it's just going to basically be dollar for dollar. Whoever spends more money on distribution, whoever cracks that code, then that's exactly it, right? Like whoever figures out, hey, this is a good core product that already solves a core problem, then it's just going to be a money war. And it's going to be like, okay, these people are spending this amount, we're just going to spend more, right? So now I think the next,
That's why we're on here with you, making our dollars go further. We're not going to call she or Polymarket on marketing spend. So the clips we're going to get out of this content are hopefully going to help us take over the timeline for a bit here as we get in line.
Exactly. And, to be honest, it's one of their core strategies that I've been studying as well, too. They do the same thing, except they tackle UGC markets, right? FOMO app, there's only a few crypto Twitter KOLs that are even promoting FOMO app. Where are they acquiring the 1 million users they've gotten over the last 4 months? Well, it's not crypto Twitter. I'll tell you that. So they're hitting other markets, but I think that's where teams now have to be very, very creative. The days and age, and I've been a benefactor to this, so I'm even being critical of myself. I don't mean to piss off or offend any of my friends, but the truth is, like, the days and age where I would get paid $1,000 to $5,000 for a tweet is gone, and that's fine. Like, sure, that sucks for me, but I started building other things as a result because I saw that happening, and I just knew that, hey, crypto marketing in general is very capital inefficient, and once we solve that problem, then it's just going to operate just like any other regulated market, right? So like with App Store apps, people have to get creative with marketing because Meta ads is cooked. It's that problem's already been solved. So someone with more money than you will just spend more money on Meta. They'll steal your creative and they'll spend more money on Meta. So distribution as a final moat is done as well too. The next thing that I'm saying, and I think this might take about a year to, let's say 1 to 2 years to fully realize, it's going to be community and creative. So one of the things that I've noticed with ag market is like from the ground up, and obviously with your previous experience of like in the NFTs, working with literally some of the biggest NFT projects in the world, like one, the creative is sick. Like branding is clean. It's like the branding is clean. You can build a lot of good creative around it, but like seeing it as far as like distribution and getting I know we've talked about white labels and stuff like that, but like, how would you form a community around a prediction product? And that's fair criticism. I think I have even for the biggest prediction markets out there right now. Like, it feels like they really have community, but a lot of it's paid, right? So it's hard to discern the difference.
Absolutely. I think there's a couple of products out there or really like community first orgs. One of our advisors actually Champ, or I think Champ T Graham on X. I think he has the biggest prediction markets YouTube account and the biggest Discord server. So super excited to partner with him and see how we can tap into that community. And then Trade Onsite, which is the ex Sugar Town guys from Zynga. They're building community first as well. For us at Snag, we're going to solve distribution the way we always have, which is B2B first. This is my first time ever launching a consumer product. Even when I led the ads platform or the pickup product at DoorDash, we were selling B2B first. And then those restaurants were enabling that offering via our existing consumer application. So my background's really always been B2B first. And super excited to be launching a consumer product, but this is really intended to get folks familiar with what we built so that we can support some of the largest brands, front ends, and builders in offering their own high quality prediction market experiences that aggregate all of the selection, all of the demand, and let them streamline that through a single interface.
No, for sure. And that's one of the things we talked about. So I do want to dive a little bit into somewhat core product, I guess now, but like, what is ag market? Like, what is it actually, right? Like, obviously it's in the title, aggregate, I'm assuming aggregated markets, but how exactly does it work? Is it attached to dozens of different markets, 1 or 2 different markets? Which one does it choose as a venue? I guess what is some of the smart logic behind it? I'm just curious of how this whole thing works. And one of the things I wrote in the flyer announcement I made is, you know, I think, and I've seen this, right, as far as like bots and like LARP. A lot of people are LARPing in the prediction space, like, oh yeah, I made a, you know, an automated bot that finds these arbitrage opportunities, etc. And then you find out it's not actually real. But I know the opportunities are real. So I do want to dive into, like, one, how does it work? Two, how do people use this to make money?
Absolutely. So, like under the hood, we're aggregating all of the top venues: Kalshi, Polymarket, Limitless, uh, Predict.fun, Myriad, etc. We'll also have Hyperliquid HIP4 support to get all the Hyperliquid markets when that launches in the next week or so here. And what we're doing under the hood, if you want to maybe like click into the UEFA Champions League winner top left there, really any of them, is we're aggregating liquidity so that we can route orders across different venues from the same interface. Actually, do you mind if I steal screen here? Because
yeah, you can still, yeah, for sure.
Just because you're geo blocked there, and you know, unfortunately, that is the regulatory environment we're operating in. So let me pop up what we're serving via the product. Yeah. So like jumping into that same product here, or that same.
Bam.
Yeah. There we go. So here you can see we have 4 venues that are matched together as sharing the same settlement criteria. We use a multi-LLM model with reinforcement learning to ensure that with at least 99.9% accuracy, users are betting across the same event. And then that model enables us to do smart routing and order splitting to identify the best trade across any exchange. So depending on the market and the side of the exchange, we route orders and even split orders in order to help users get the best trade. So really building like kind of like a relay or a 1-inch equivalent product that optimizes fees on every bet.
That's sick. Okay. So I'm thinking right now, you could, and like, just want to know if like this is literally how it works. You could buy on one market and sell on another. Like, is that possible? Like, because I saw some price differences even with this, right? 685, 646. Like, I don't know if I'm wrapping my head around this correctly. It's kind of, but let's say if you bought the 5850, can you just go onto another market and sell it? And like, will there, like, I don't know how this works.
So each prediction is with the specific markets. You have to resell via the market you're predicting on. But I'll go ahead and jump in here and do one of these live. So let's put $20 on Polymarket here. Oh no, I don't have $20. So let's do $10 on Polymarket here. This is one of those examples I mentioned earlier, actually, where the service is identified that splitting the order is going to optimize that trade for users. So here we're actually going to split the order across both Polymarket and Predict. And then as we execute that order, then users will be able to come in and sell orders. So let me jump into something that I've already placed here. So now this is a live order with Kalshi, and I can take my 19 shares and sell that directly with them via our API. So just sold no at 22 cents. Don't think I made any money on that trade, but kind of shows how the interface lets you work across multiple exchanges and abstract the experience to make sure that you're getting the best fees on every order.
That's crazy. And then, dude, this is sick. So you guys aren't necessarily, and I know you mentioned this just like very briefly just now, but really the goal for this is you have now, and I noticed in the bottom left corner on the site, Bill with Ag Build. So is this something that you're going to offer for other people to be able to, I guess, white label, offer their own solutions for this?
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is just our landing page. What's probably more interesting is our storybook. So we have every type of integration imaginable supported. We do webhooks, WebSockets, React components, ready-made components, which is what I'm sharing here, and direct API access. So anyone can rebuild any experience, trading bots, because we integrate all of that. Demand arbitrage bots are definitely a core use case here, where we can help route orders across markets where there's meaningful differences in spreads. But you'll see these ready-made components look really exactly like that ag.market experience I shared earlier. So ag.market is just a proof of concept here. We hope people like it, and maybe we'll do some real volume. But the goal over time is to let folks offer really high quality experiences, choose their colors, their fonts, and everything else needed to customize a site like this. And then via these ready-made components, we support integrations in sub 1 hour. You can really come in here, style it, and import the CSS directly. And then from there, you're able to manage the experience via our admin panel. So projects get to decide what order fee they want to set, what venues they want to integrate, what categories they want to pull in, with even more flexibility available via that API layer. I mentioned just a second ago as we were starting how we built this in reaction to my own inability to make profits on prediction markets over the holidays. I was trading on Robinhood, and Robinhood is just Kalshi with a 1% fee. And users are figuring that out. Robinhood launched with 50% of Kalshi share. They're down to around 30% right now. That's because any intelligent consumer over time is realizing that they should just go directly to Kalshi and save a percent. But what will enable is for folks, hopefully like Robinhood in the future, but anyone who wants to build with us right now, to offer these high quality aggregated experiences that really let them save so many fees for users that they're then able to justify fees and keep users coming back to their platform.
No, this is sick. This is sick. And I've had this thesis before too, for two products, actually technically 3 products, 2 for sure, and there's an argument to be made for the third. But first one is Polymarket and Kalshi. I've seen a lot of new prediction markets going out there, and I think where this one stands out is you're not sort of going in and saying, hey, we're going to fully replace any of the dominant players already in the game. We're actually just building tech and infra around it, which is honestly just as valuable of a play. I think a lot of times same thing happened with Pump Fund, right? And Hyperliquid. I actually would make this argument with Hyperliquid. That was number 2. So for Hyperliquid, everyone saw Hyperliquid. You saw Binance launch their own version. You saw everybody under the sun tried to launch their own version of perpetual DEXs. And obviously none of them took any sort of meaningful chunk out of the category leader, the category definer, really. So I think the smarter play for a lot of builders out there is to say, hey, look, you're probably not going to win the fight against one of these Goliaths. You're just statistically it's very improbable. They already came in and defined the category, but building infra around them can be just as valuable as that market continues to expand. The third argument I could make this for, and it's not going to be a well-received one, but Pump Fund. Pump Fund. If you think about Pump Fund, how many launchpads have tried to come out and take meaningful market share from Pump Fund? It's like, dude, they already have the volume. Why don't you just build tech around it and you can start capturing some of that volume? And I see that with
in each of those categories, I'd say upstream of volume is selection, right? We come from a marketplace background at DoorDash. DoorDash won because we got the most restaurants onto the product quickest. Amazon won because they got every book title imaginable onto the platform and then scaled to new categories. And in crypto, we've seen this multiple times. Back in NFTs, there was OpenSea and all these closed garden marketplaces. And then Blur came out with their aggregator model. And now everyone is an aggregator model, right? Liquidity and selection are synonyms here, but being able to offer the deepest available selection of markets and liquidity for each market so that you can optimize fees on every trade is the better product experience. So super excited to help improve outcomes for users.
Yeah, no. I also just want to shout out. Hey, what's good, Emmy, Preston, TM, Alpha Clips, B Tech, Fury. What's good? What's good, guys? We do have live clipping campaign live. So if you guys see any, hear any dope stuff, feel free to clip it, post it, share it around, tag both myself, Seer or Zach, Ag Market as well. Hey, shout out for the repost. But I agree, and I think the hyper personalized experiences, going back to the tech moat getting decimated, and now distribution moats within the next 2 years will start to get decimated and leveled out. Then the last thing is just going to be everybody says this, like it's a buzzword, but it's true. Taste, right? Creative, and then also community, right? If everybody can distribute themselves, then people are just going to truly be able to select the people that they actually want to pay attention to. If anybody can build any product ever, they're going to buy the product from the people that they like, that they trust, that they see the most, etc. So I think for what you're building, I see it like this, let's say someone that runs a sports prediction, dude, this is a massive market in Web 2, and it has been for the last 10 years, especially on the IG, influencer guru side. On WAP, you could see this. You see some of the top earners on WAP. It's like the gambling picks guys, where they're like, oh, this is faded picks, and it's like a $9.99 a month subscription. And you'd be surprised. Those guys print money. They literally just print money all day. And most of them have affiliate deals with either different sports books or online casinos, etc. But what happens when the guy that has the distribution, the faded picks or the Zach picks, right, says, you know what, I'm just going to build my own and funnel my community there, right? And then I don't have to figure out the infra. I don't have to develop anything. I can just use tools like this. So I see a world where especially for prediction markets, you could have a news commentator that says, hey, I'm going to make, faded news, picks or whatever, right? And now they can just add additional layers on top of what's already built and honestly capture meaningful liquidity and volume doing so.
Absolutely. And so true on the go-to-market. I was just on with a guy who's building a sports specific predictions aggregator and is looking at using our backend. And he said on the call, hey, we got multiple users who are gambling $5,000, $10,000 a game. I paused him. I was like, okay, how are you finding those users? And he said, well, we don't touch crypto Twitter. We're on Action Network. We're on all the main pick services, and we're finding users via the folks who are giving them their alpha. And so, back to distribution, there's so many strategies here, and gross reach is not the only strategy. Getting savvy and really nativizing the product to your audience and your go-to-market to your category is so much of what wins right now.
100%. So basically anyone that's a specialist at anything could basically use an ag market backend to build their own product rather than, and it's tough for creators out there, especially you grind for months and years to finally get profitable and make revenue. And it takes a lot of capital investment, cameras, lighting, whatever it is, it's not easy. And then you have to have a lot of discipline to even compete with your peers. So by the time you get to that point, and I emphasize this to all creators, you have to find your own revenue streams. If you're only dependent on brand deals, that's a very dangerous place to be. The biggest creators in the world have some product. They have an info product. They sell a course. They sell a mentorship. They sell a community access, right? They may have a private Discord and say, hey, this gives you the premium level in my private Discord. This is just another one of those tools that I think any creator can now add to their tool belt. So if you are a sports commentator and you only care about sports, you don't care about crypto, you don't care about politics, you don't care about media and entertainment, then continue talking about the stuff that you're passionate about. And now you have a downstream product you can actually make money from while doing so. Same thing for politics. Same thing for music lovers. Same thing for movie lovers. It's going to be fascinating. The future is going to be weird. It's going to be so different. Like, there's going to be thousands of products of like the same thing, just reskinned for different people.
Hell yeah. Yeah, super excited about the use case of like embedding predictions directly into Substacks, whether that's for stock picks, sports picks, crypto calls, like letting folks monetize and do that directly within their existing products.
Question for you, kind of out of left field, but are there any specific markets that you care about the most? Like, I'm curious about like, because how this all started, as you were mentioning at the beginning of the show, you were saying like, I suck at prediction market. Yeah, you said it. You said it. Me too. I suck at prediction markets. You're like, I had enough, and I went on my own revenge arc and started building my own, which is like cool. Like that's awesome. But like, are there any that you've seen some sort of success, or like that you just genuinely like the most? You're like, hey, I care about these. That's something I feel like I've been struggling with. Is like I'm exhausted from all the options. There's too many options. I don't know what to focus on. There's like so much information overload. So curious if you have found a specific niche that you've sort of, has worked well for you, and any sort of strategies you could share.
Yeah, so I mean, I think like bet what you know. I played college football. I love football. If I wasn't building in crypto, I'd be doing something in the sports category. And during football season, I at least don't lose money. Maybe I even make a little bit of money. So bet what you know. I think that's a good tie-in though to talk about something a little bit different, which is like you see all these news articles, New York Times, etc., on predictions are controversial. Predictions are just sports betting with a new interface, and they're really not. There's a couple sides of this. Like one, the reason this is a CFTC regulated product is it mirrors all of the regulatory requirements associated with any other commodities product, namely visibility into the market. You can see the order book depth in each of our market charts, and you can see how that breaks out across each individual component. And then the ability to enter and exit positions at any moment. So like free market movement. So that's what prediction markets have already brought to the forefront. What they haven't solved yet is user fees, which I talked about a little bit ago. Like today, on average, call sheet fees are about 4.2 to 4.5%. On average, sportsbook fees are about 4.5 to 4.8%. So like saving a little bit of money on the margin, but it's not fundamentally better. And that's a huge part of what we're setting out to solve. But the thing that gets me really excited about the category is the ability to create a non-biased or decentralized source of truth. And I think that's why the media is pushing back so hard on the category, right? Like this is yet another blow that is coming.
It's a power play.
And so they're trying to cut this shit out before it eats their lunch, right? Like imagine you're reading some puff piece from the New York Times on why they like or don't like a political candidate, and then embedded into the article is a prediction market on that candidate's future likability rating or their likelihood of winning the upcoming election, and it goes directly against what they're trying to claim in the article. Like that is a future that we're heading towards, and excited to be a part of building something that is not introducing bias and really showing a source of truth that represents the collective.
You know what you're making me think is perception is reality. Perception is reality. And for the last probably couple hundred years, whoever had control of the media controlled perception, which basically determined reality. This is getting deep. I don't mean to get this deep, but it's true. It's true. Perception. Oh God, let's go. Oh, that was me. Was that you? Oh, that was me. Okay. But perception is reality, right? So for the last couple hundred years of just honestly, for as long as I would say humanity's been around, whoever controlled information, whoever controlled the distribution of information, basically determines truth. Basically determines truth. So then whatever is being said, like, and I've actually remember reading a lot of like World War II or even like other wars throughout history have literally been lost and won based off of the information that was being spread to people. If people are being told on the home front, hey, we're getting cooked, man, this isn't working out, and maybe that's not even the reality of the battlefield, then there could be growing sentiment on the home front of like, oh, let's get out of here, like we don't need to deal with this, etc. I mean, we just saw this, dude. We just saw this at the beginning of. It's kind of calmed down a little bit. Maybe they found a way of censoring or suppressing it. Do you remember the first like 2 weeks of the Iran war? Dude, my timeline was fucking flooded with propaganda. Flooded. Have you seen any of those Iran videos? There was like the cartoon.
Absolutely, and it is absolutely still happening. Like that you saw the Polymarket guy Shane. He was talking about, hey, I've gotten notes from folks in Iran, and they say they use Polymarket to figure out how close they need to sleep to the bomb shelter tonight, right? Like this is source truth that is being utilized in countries like that for people to make day-to-day decisions because they can't believe what they're reading and what they're hearing.
Bro, okay, where this this is getting philosophical, but where this gets deep. You saw the soldier, the
guy who bet on the exit date. Yeah.
So if you guys don't know context, maybe I could pull up the article as well too. But there was a U.S. soldier who was basically being tasked with removing the president of Venezuela. Let me see, president of Venezuela. This would be good for clips, so I'm going to pull it up. But president of Venezuela, U.S. soldier. I'll find the news article. But anyhow, this guy was being, was a part of the task force to basically do this, and he put a 400,000, something like that, 400K on was it Polymarket? Basically, yeah. Here, I got it pulled up now. Holy cow! This is interesting stuff. This was just pretty recent news of maybe a week ago, something like that. But U.S. soldier accused of betting on Maduro's removal pleads not guilty to fraud charges. He made $400,000 by basically betting on Polymarket that he would that the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro was going to be removed. Now, where's the inherent conflict of interest? He was hired to remove him.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's fucking wild. Yeah.
And we need way better kind of like insider trading, legislation. I think there's going to get a bill's going to be passed very soon on Congress people or political, folks in political power not being able to participate in prediction markets. But it's funny because a little bit of a counter take is that insider trading is the point of prediction markets, right? Like that's what enabled, like in the last election, I think it was, I forget if it was 49 of 50 or 50 of 50 states that were correctly predicted by Polymarket. I mean, like there's no one who has true insider information on a election prior to the election concluding. And so but those markets were being moved by people who were, part of the campaign teams, reading the poll data. And that's what enables this to be, consistently beat out, the traditional media, whether it's the Oscars, whether it's an upcoming political cycle. And it's really important that folks are able to look at that and really understand what's going on.
You know why I think prediction markets are like a genie that's never going to go back in the bottle? Because if you really think about it, this is like got a lot of like philosophical takes here, but if you really think about it, humans are greedy more than anything else. So if they know they can make money on information that they have, they're going to use it every time. Not 100% rate. If someone has information, if they know, hey, this sports, and it's not like it's a modern issue. I think posturing prediction markets and insider trading is like inherently a 21st century, modern issue is a farce, because this has been happening since the early days of the MLB and probably even in ancient Rome, during warfare. Like this has been happening since the beginning of human history. It's just now we have technology that makes it easier and honestly kind of fair at least, right? Because if news is becoming democratized, if information is like, you can go get information anywhere, you have the internet, you can connect with anyone that might have their own network of information. Well, this is becoming a democratized playing ground of using the different information sources you have against other people. And I think if people realize that, maybe that makes them better traders at the end of the day, is sort of finding your edge, which is exactly where we started. I was like, hey, I haven't really gotten fully caught into the stickiness of prediction markets yet. Personally, I haven't found my edge. I haven't found the one thing that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm better than everybody else at this, So
Absolutely. And I do think like there's a lot of maturation that's needed here. To me, the 4% fee is the fundamental consumer problem today. Because imagine if you were trying to make money trading meme coins, crypto, really anything where you were actively trading and paying a 4% fee on every order. It doesn't work, right? Like stocks, folks are charging, sub 1%, normally sub 0.3% to execute trades. And so it's critical that this aggregation tooling exists because that's what enables free flows of funds across these exchanges in a way that creates price competition. Not to call out Polymarket or sorry, Kalshi, but to call out Kalshi a little bit, they have a regulatory monopoly right now. And while that will close, Coinbase, Robinhood, Polymarket, they're all launching US products that are CFTC regulated. So
Hyperliquid as well, too, right? Sorry.
They're launching, but that's going to be, not CFTC regulated. That'll be more in like the Polymarket offshore category. So lots of competition coming on all sides. But what's going to be critical is that there's fee pressure on these businesses so that they're forced to deliver the best possible outcomes for users. Robinhood changed the game in equities. I don't think I've ever paid a fee on an equity because I've always traded on Robinhood. And I'm not saying zero fees are coming to prediction markets anytime soon, but sub 1 to 2% fees are absolutely achievable in this category. So I'm excited to help money flow to the best available prices and create pressure on folks to really come and meet consumers in a way that benefits everyone.
You have a really you nailed it. Yeah, I think your product, you guys are very well positioned right now. You guys are like, out of everything I've heard and seen and everything, I think that is like freedom of money and freedom of choice. Because now what you're doing is you're exposing, all of the different fees, and you're basically opening the market. You're democratizing the markets in a way, right? Where now, hey, actually, this is a better trade on this market, and they're going to take less fees. Cool, boom. So it's giving the consumers 100% freedom of choice. So you've tackled that from the B2C standpoint, and then from the B2B standpoint, we've already went into this extensively, but specialization, community, creative, right? Like this is only going to continue to proliferate in more and more micro niche areas. The sports bettor is going to say, you know what? Why am I bringing all my business to this sports book that I don't own anything of? I don't see any returns from. I might get a like cool referral fee, great, but I'm building someone else's equity when they can. I guess how to, not to get too much into the nuts and bolts of it, maybe so. Like let's getting into the weeds. How does that work? Can someone go build their whole business, like set up their own legal entity and everything, and then just become a client of AgBuild and basically just build their own specialized market? Like, do you guys?
Absolutely. Yeah. So our default fee model, at least for this quarter, we're probably going to need to figure out how to charge more in the future. But anyone who signs up before end of June, we're doing no implementation fee, no recurring fees, and we're just taking a percentage of any fees that they charge through the product. We've kind of seen a 1% fee is most standard so far. And we're taking 20 bips of that, 20, or not 20 bips, 20 bips on 1%, 20% of fees that they charge as our service or our fee for running the service. So, excited to scale with folks as well. That sports gambling product I was just talking to, who has a bunch of the 5 to 10K a day users. I was immediately open to like, hey, what does it look like to have volume breaks? We could go down to 10%. So we're going to be pretty flexible here, especially to get started. But really, to me, the best business models are always we make money when you make money. Yes. When I was running around Miami and Nashville launching new markets for DoorDash, that was always the pitch. It was you make the food, we'll bring you the order, we'll handle all the logistics, and we just take a percentage of the incremental revenue we bring to you. And so as we launch this, that's the way I like to sell.
No, that's 100%. And I think the same way. I recently just had like a TikTok style video I made recently of like, what is the whole video concept is like, what is the true meaning of wealth? And like, I think about, if anybody's ever become a billionaire and you didn't empower thousands of other people to become millionaires, then like, in my opinion, I guess in my own definition, I'm like, you kind of failed. You failed in a way, right? Because at some point you exploited people. And I think that, it's the same for anything. Like if you're some of the best businesses are when other people can build a business on top of your business, which actually makes your business even more defensible. Because now, right, like if I'm dependent on, let's say I build a 7-figure business on top of your business. This is why WAP is so fucking successful, by the way. And this is why WAP is not going anywhere. I think they're going to 100 billion valuation and more. Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
They're awesome. Love that business model. Love the level of creativity building a marketplace for creators.
Yeah, they're smoking that. They understood the assignment on that entirely, because basically if someone comes in and builds a 7-figure business, 7-figure, specialized sports market predictor, right, on top of your tech, then now it becomes even more defensible. If you have hundreds of different businesses doing the same thing, whether it's someone that's specialized in movie premieres. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the only thing they talk about. That's hyper specific to just that. Maybe they add a few more attachments, or bells and whistles on top of the overlay or display of that, right? Like then, your business is winning, right? And because you're enabling them to win. Amazon, same thing, right? There are thousands and thousands of people that have basically built their business through Amazon. TikTok, I used to work at ByteDance, and ByteDance, it's the same thing. I think we mentioned this, I mentioned this to you previously, but like the SMB self-serve side of the business started taking away market share from the enterprise revenue side of the business, because when you think about it, there are millions of people that literally require TikTok to function as a business versus Nike, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Under Armour, Gatorade. Like there's only a handful of those mega corporations that are going to give you a $10 million monthly budget. So you're capturing a lot of good market, I think, horizontal and vertical, because if I'm a power user of prediction markets, period, well, now I get to arbitrage, and basically it exposes capital inefficiency within prediction markets, right? Okay, this is capital inefficient, this is not. And then if I am interested in building a business on top of it, I don't have to worry about it. I can just come in and plug in here. And I really want to emphasize this, because I think this is this is genuine alpha, guys. This is genuine alpha. Like if you are a creator or have any sort of specialty, what Zach just shared with us is incredible alpha. Like, please take notes of this, clip this. If you are a builder or a creator, you can get your own prediction market built within the next few months. Like if you sign, we said before June an hour.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the no fees is in the next 2 months, but yeah, absolutely. And just like plugging that back, there's a lot of creators here. Like someone come build the WAP predictions app on us. We will not go after that market. We want to scale through our partners. We had a guy who was trying to like pitch me on using some of his aggregation tooling, building a Telegram bot. He came back to us after the launch and he said, I ripped out my back end. We're using you guys. So like we you know, whether it's Telegram, WAP, Substack, etc., like anyone who has an edge, anyone who has a category, we want to work with you to help you bring predictions to your users and do it in a way that makes sense for your audience.
Successful prediction market traders. Holy fuck. Oh my God. Bro, okay. If you are a successful prediction market trader or have any specialty, this is incredible, because now you can get involved at the ownership side of an industry that's only going to keep growing. What was Polymarket's last valuation? What was Kalshi's last valuation? It's like
15-ish for Polymarket and 20 plus for Kalshi. So
that's going to 5 to 10x in the next few years. Almost guaranteed. Almost guaranteed. I'm not even trying to sell you FOMO. It will. It will.
Yeah, the number is everyone's pretty convinced $1 trillion as an industry by 2030.
1 trillion as an industry. So yeah, they're going to 10x in the next 4 years, roughly. Because let's say between both of them, they own 50% of the industry, probably more. Actually, probably way fucking more, to be honest, like 90%. So
it's going to be a longer entrance, though. I think things are going to get competitive. You know, like Robinhood's going to move off Kalshi and build their own thing in house. So great time to join and be a part of it. And also, like shameless plug as well. Like our launch this week was focused on B2B and B2C. Right? Like trade through our product, but more importantly, build your own consumer experiences. Next month, we're coming back with more of an agentic builder launch. So if you've ever had a trading strategy that you're trying to test out over Polymarket and you just can't quite get it to be profitable, there's a good chance the problem is the data that you have access to. Like it's insanely hard to find meaningful opportunities across a single exchange versus when we aggregate liquidity across all these products, we're regularly seeing on average for match markets and at least 3% arbitrage off, 3% on average. But then we see lots of markets with 10, 20% plus arbitrage opportunities as you integrate some of the mid-tail folks like a Limitless, a Myriad, et cetera.
So I just thought this is the bag. This is the bag play. Look, I'm always giving bag plays. I told you guys about a bunch of stuff recently. I think with Meme Coin Alpha, InfoFi Alpha, this is where you make a bag, guys. And I'm probably gonna experiment with this myself too. So listen, you wait for a big event that's about to happen. It's gonna flood social media, right? Oh my God. I'm literally gonna give away $1 million playbook right now, right? You wait for the fucking Grammys, the Super Bowl, whatever it is. You build a prediction market just for that event. And then you run a high volume marketing campaign on social media during that event. That you can cook hundreds of thousands of dollars probably in a day. And honestly, the market could disappear in 3 months and nobody's going to give a shit. Oh
absolutely. And same thing, but also just like evergreen niche markets like that. There's major political market only prediction market opportunities.
The Masters,
open category, golf. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like building hyper specific product experiences for these things that people love.
Holy crap. Dude, I got a lot of ideas now. It's like the same thing with like ecom. Like that's the world I came from before crypto, very long time ago. And with ecom, you find these like very hyper niche products, and it's just a fucking race, dude. It's just like whoever can get there, whoever can advertise, whoever gets the best creative, eats a crap ton of money for a few months, then the market changes, and you don't have to deal with the overhead. You know how much it sucked back in the day? This is before vibe coding, guys. This is before any of that stuff. I would have to sit up till 4 a.m, build an e-com site, run a bunch of ads that I'm probably going to lose money on. And then eventually one of them will hit, and then I'll start making money for like a couple of weeks. Then 30 other people copy me, and then I got to move on to the next thing. So for something like this, you're basically democratizing those types of opportunities. And if you understand a market, an event, a niche, bruh, this is there's some big plays that people can make using this tech.
Hell yeah.
Not even just from the consumer standpoint. This is like
we had our launch yesterday, and I finally got through it, and then I was up until like around 1 o'clock trying to do my first Claude Code project on top of our technology. Didn't quite get through it last night, but like so much opportunity here. I'm excited to cook a little bit on my own.
Hell yeah. Question. Yeah. I mean, because now dude, you're probably gonna end up, at least like for myself. I'm the number one power user of my own product. And I'm assuming because you built it to solve your own problems, it's probably the same thing, right? Like
there's no way I'm not number one by trading volume. I gotta get them.
That's bullish, right? Like because now you're gonna be your hardest critic. Right? You don't need to get consumer support. If the product doesn't work for you, you're like, hey, this sucks. I'm going to redo it this way or do it this way, or et cetera, et cetera. Holy crowd, dude. I think there's going to be some big plays from this. There's going to be some really, really big plays from this that you'd be stupid to not take advantage of, because once other people start establishing themselves as hyper niche markets, it's going to be harder. It's going to get a lot harder if you try to do this in 2030. Or 2029, it's going to be significantly harder to do this. Wow. Damn, dude, I'm like actually taken aback. Like, I don't think we've spoken like a couple times, 1 or 2 times previously, and I don't think I'll be honest, bro. I didn't fully get it. Now I think I see the big picture. Shit, man. Wow. Oh, the agentic stuff. I did want to touch on that a little bit. What exactly is that going to entail? What does that mean for, I guess, retail or builders? Like,
just opening up the API layer. Right now, we're really focused on consumer products, but because like a little bit of tech geekery here, because our entire backend is based in Rust, and because we're already ingesting every single order book across every single venue and storing them internally, our AWS bill last month was $12,000. But that's a fixed cost. It doesn't matter how many times people call our APIs. And so there's a couple other, like we actually went consumer first, funny enough, because the agentic space has like 10x more builders trying to make a buck than the consumer category. But now we're going to come back after agentic and we're going to undercut pricing by like 80 to 90%. Like we just want to help. It's all about scale for us right now. We have a profitable business. We don't need the money short term. And so we just want to open up this tooling so that folks can build arbitrage bots, trading strategies, and use the best fees, like, for these high frequency trading strategies, shaving even 0.5%, let alone the 3% that we're typically saving users on matched market trades. Like that's going to compound. And so we're just excited to hopefully support some builders so that next time you see a tweet about, I vibe coded this bot and I made $500,000, it's powered by Snag and it's real, right? Like it's not just a attention grab. Yeah.
Full blown LARP. And there's a lot of that, bro. I see that all the time within the prediction market and AI stuff too. Like people will make an AI video like, hey, I trained this bot and, et cetera, et cetera. And then you read into, you get to the bottom of the post and they're selling you a course or, something. You're like, dude, what the hell? Like, did you actually even build this? If so, why would you be giving it away? But for you specifically, I think I understand what's going on. I think I'm finally fully grasping the full picture here. When you think about it, Pump Fund is not the best launchpad. Hyperliquid is not the best perp stacks. Polymarket is not the best prediction market. But what they did was they captured the most volume, and the volume inherently will always bring the most users. I've done some advisory calls for several other launchpads, and that's literally what I gave them. I was like, hey, you're not going to take any meaningful market share from Pump Fund until you grab the volume source away, right? And the volume source isn't going to come because if you think about it as a meme coin deployer, where am I making money? I'm going to make money where there's the most volume. So why am I going to not make it?
Everything in crypto is a marketplace, and in two-sided marketplaces, if you have a selection advantage on either side, the best liquidity or the best set of projects, you're not going to lose until you lose control of one of those advantages.
Correct. Yeah. So something like Pump Fund or they're never going to lose their market share unless, because again, like something you hit on, if people are making money or building businesses on top of your business, that's the most defensible moat you could ever have, right? So with these prediction markets and what you're doing, you're kind of putting you're putting some foot to ass a little bit. You're putting some pressure on them because now, as this product becomes more popular, as more people start to build their own sort of white labels and specific categories, it's going to put more pressure onto them. It's like, hey, you're going to have to offer the best liquidity advantages for people to continue using your specific product or market.
Absolutely. Competition is good for everyone. Prediction markets are competitive, but don't be scared of a competitive market. Be scared of a lack of competition, right? Like we want to be that's why I'm so excited about predictions after building a few $1 million ARR business, but doing so in a market that's not going to scale to $1 billion. Like we're just excited to operate against a very obvious venture scale opportunity. And so coming into this space with unchecked aggression here.
Oh, hell yeah. No, that's awesome. And then another thing I wanted to ask is, because I genuinely, guys, this is like legitimate alpha as far as setting up your own markets, especially if you have your own audience. If you have your own audience, there's someone else is going to do it. Someone else is going to do it, and you're going to be pissed. You're going to be like, dude, what the hell? That could have been me. Like, set up your own market. It's like such a freaking obvious thing right now.
And sorry, random thing on the user side, I think the alpha may be Hyperliquid is going live any day now. So just today, they put the proposal out to move HIP4, which is their kind of predictions infrastructure. That will be going from soon to live any day now. And Hyperliquid has, I forget the fee percentage, but it's like, it's sub 0.5% fees relative to these other markets. And it's, decentralized or permissionless, I should say, market creation. And so that plus aggregation tooling to put those markets alongside a Kalshi, a Polymarket, et cetera, that's going to be the best time ever to be a prediction market trader. And I think like most likely next week. Certainly in the next 2 weeks that goes live.
Yeah, I just thought as well too. There's another play, and I'm sure you're going to deal with this within the next few months, if not sooner. You're going to have Web2 people, right, that are aware of this, and I could see them going and selling this as like a $50,000 product to someone else. Hey man, I'll get you all set up. I'm going to make you want to make your own prediction market.
If you want to make a buck as a concierge service, we have nothing against that.
Bro, people are going to eat off of that, especially it's such a niche market. Like nobody out, like a lot of normies have no idea what the hell it is. So you could just make a WAP right now.
Absolutely. We got connected to someone who's super connected in the Philippines, and they want to they just want to like bring prediction markets to the Philippines. We're here for it.
That's sick. Yeah. So regionalized, niche, then also just like straight agency model. Just like, hey man, I'll get you all set up, whatever. Just give me a week or two, and then they close a mid 5-figure ticket, get it done on AgBuild, go back to the client. Hey man, it's all set up. I got you going. Dude, there's a lot of hustle plays that could be made off of what you've already built, and it also exposes the markets as far as capital inefficiency, which is, I think, ultimately the greatest thing that holds the crypto industry back is capital inefficiency from the marketing standpoint, and also products. If people have freedom of choice of products, if people have freedom of choice of, or if distribution is decentralized, UGC, clipping, etc., then it equalizes everything. Now people have to provide more value to continue to get paid a lot of money. But that opens up massive arbitrage opportunities in the short term, like someone becoming an IG guru and selling this as a $100,000 product to some unsuspecting business owner or influencer. It's genius. It's actually genius. One of the questions I was going to ask, as far as like direct support, I know you obviously mentioned that sports prediction guy, he's a upcoming, a client of yours, and he's going to be making a specialized version of this. What sort of support do you guys offer internally I guess for anybody that's curious and saying, hey, I want to get, I watched this show. I watched some of the clips. I want to get it. I need a piece of this pie. Like what sort of.
So, one, I got my handle here. I'm at Hairwagon, both on. Sorry for the atrocious username. I didn't understand Twitter when I created that. But that's my username both on Telegram and Twitter. Hit me up. I'm Zach at ag.market as well. If you want to shoot me an email, and would love to chat. On the support side, we have support at Snag Solutions. It's right there in the footer where Faded was just sharing. And so we do user support via the support alias. Got a great guy on that. And then, right now I'm handling all of our partner communications one-to-one. So I'd love to work with you. I'd love to help you figure out the right strategy for your audience or how you can best bring something to market. So would love to chat.
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. I guess last question I have here, one of the last questions I have here, obviously we touched on this a little bit as far as and not to be like the buzzkill, but regulatory markets. How, if you were to like have your own predictions, no pun intended, as far as like where does that go? Where are we going from here? And did you see that Trump clip recently where he's like, yeah, the whole world is now gambling and this.
I did. He walked it back. He walked it back. Then he came back. He was like, I know some very smart people who are working in this space. So I'm sure his son, who's an advisor at both Kalshi and Polymarket, was like, Dad,
you're screwing up my bags, dude. You're flooding my bags.
I think the bigger thing, like you talk, like I have a bias. I'm in crypto because I'm, libertarian, Austrian economics type background. That was actually my like major specialization in college. But once you introduce freedoms to people, you can't take them back. And you saw it in the last cycle, like the crypto party swung things by at least a percentage point. Some news sources have said 2 to 3. No one is going to vote yes for a candidate because they're running on restricting folks' ability to access prediction markets. But folks who are, whether they're actually making money or just having fun with these things, folks will vote no on folks who are trying to restrict their ability to access these products. So, this is a one-way street. Out ahead of predictions, sports gambling was live in more than 30 states, like mid 30 states. And so just like everything else we've seen over our lifetimes, whether it's, weed, gay marriage, or anything else, like it's a one-way arrow, and I'm here for all of it.
Yeah. So your overall prediction on this is that the markets are going to continue to free themselves, and whether there's the genie's out the bottle. Genie's out the bottle.
I mean, like we may see moments in time where things come back a little bit and then they keep moving, but in the fullness of time, it's a one-way street.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's just going to become more and more part of regular life. I recently saw another clip of this guy at a baseball game. He was sitting there on his laptop doing predictions on the game live, which I think is going to be interesting. And we're seeing it across everything. I have this one take. I would love to get your feedback on this. And it's more of, I guess, ideological. But I think that on a long enough time frame, prediction markets are no longer prediction markets, and instead truth oracles. And I think that you'll be able to basically, and I've realized this with clipping as well too. And what I've realized is that if something gets spammed on the internet enough, it's real. Perception is reality, right? So like Clavicular was not someone who was famous last year, about 12 months ago. Nobody, if you were to ask for it. And now my, 57-year-old dad knows who he is. And I didn't tell him. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, what this confused, dude, that actually threw me off. That threw me off a lot. It's like, oh, you've heard about this.
Who it was like a few weeks ago. So your dad's on it.
Yeah. Like 57-year-old dude. And he's like, yeah, have you seen this looks maxing guide stuff, whatever? I'm like, dude, that's insane. How do you know about this? And I think it's because it's spammed on the internet enough that now makes it more discoverable. Andrew Tate hacked that 5 or 6 years ago. And now I think with prediction markets on a longer time frame, you're basically going to be able to define reality in terms of politics, in terms of social sentiment, but at least it's democratized because anyone with money can get involved, I guess. Um, it's just interesting. It's kind of my overall take on like what prediction markets might look like in 2035, if you will.
I love it, and that's like at more of a meta level. That's what we're trying to build. When ag is a multi-billion-dollar business, and you and I are catching up in 2030, we're going to be worth that because we are the source of truth for event outcomes, right? And actually aggregating liquidity and opinions across markets enables folks to get to and understand the truth faster. So I think there's going to be all types of use cases in products, in hedging strategies, as insurance. We're not really there yet. That's the future. And today it's 15-minute Bitcoin markets and sports gambling, but everything has a start, and so excited to help build it from the ground up.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. If you were to leave one more sort of message or a CTA, as they say in marketing, for anyone live or even who would be rewatching this later on, any sort of like major points you would like to make as far as the product and getting people to try it out. I think there's a lot of different avenues here, not just from the consumer standpoint, but I see the massive B2B opportunities personally.
Absolutely. I think like we have three audiences. If you're a consumer, check out ag.market. We're optimizing every fee and every trade for you. I'll leave it there. We can get into the mathematical proof in another combo. Any user can log in with a wallet, with Google Auth, Apple Auth, etc. So it's open to everyone. If you're a builder, whether that's an agentic builder, someone who's been trying to scheme up your own trading bot, trading agent, etc., we have the best data source for you. We let you, execute everything that's available on the ag market platform via API, and you can do that, with Claude Code or your Vibe coding service of choice. And most importantly, if you're interested in building a brand, if you already have a brand, we are tailor-made to plug in hours to days, and really excited to help you launch your own prediction market service, integrate direct predictions directly into a news feed. So no matter who you are, we're excited to build with you.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I see it, and I agree. I think if you are a news aggregator or if you are a subject matter expert, content creator in any of these niches, sports, politics, media, entertainment, you might as well add this as a revenue pathway for yourself because someone else is going to, and they're going to make a lot of money doing it. If you're a B2B business, agency, marketer, etc., or you're just really fucking good at sales, bro, you can just take this and sell it on Instagram or TikTok for like mid 5 to 6 figures. I'm not even joking. Like people were doing this years ago with like Amazon stores. Someone could build a lot of there's a lot of businesses to be built on top of this business. That's what I'll say. And the other thing is, I guess I do have one sort of a final thing, as far as the traders out there, right? We started this off. You said, hey man, I've been getting cooked on prediction markets, so now I'm going to go get my piece of the pie. Same thing, I've experienced as a creator as well too. I was like, man, it's so hard to get reach. It's so hard to get distribution. So I'm like, all right, screw it. I'm going to figure out my own way of doing this. For anyone else out there that feels the same sentiment right now, hey, as a trader, I haven't really found my edge yet. I'm sure there's so much stuff you've learned in building this. Is there any advice for the traders out there or people that want to become like myself, dude? I want to be profitable on prediction markets. I suck at it. I don't know what to do. Like, what is some of the best advice you could offer? And like, how can ag market really sort of like potentially help me get an edge? I know there's no promises and stuff, but like, what can we really offer for traders?
Yeah, like the category is a little bit different in the sense that every outcome is roughly 50-50, and it's not like the asset's going to value over time.
Mm,
So there's two ways to trade: high frequency, develop a quantitative edge, and let the strategy play out, tinker, iterate, adjust your data sources. Data is the alpha in that world. Or trade what you know, and when you know what you know, move with size, right? Like having relatively low fees, near zero fees across a set of trades enables folks to win, but you have to have an edge still. So find your edge. Don't get stuck in the middle. Moving with lack of conviction and playing just to play, that's just sports gambling, and you can have a lot of fun doing it, but you're probably going to lose money.
yeah, yeah, and at the end of the day too, that there's some consumers that will fall into that category. I know when I used to sports gamble quite a bit, actually back in the day, UFC and NFL primarily. Um, I never saw it as something I'm going to get rich off of.
Oh,
Like
I have fun, so that's it's a
yeah,
piece.
it's like you know, it's a reason I can scream at my TV or my phone. That's sort of so that's another thing too, guys. And I want to maybe emphasize that point is have a healthy relationship with this tech. It's going to continue growing. It's going to continue to be all over your face. Sports, media, politics, even the weather, wherever. It's literally going to be everywhere. But highly emphasize having a healthy relationship with it and find your opportunities, whether that's building a business on top of this business without needing the technical expertise, or finding your edge. And if you can't find your edge, then develop it with some of the agentic stuff that's going to be coming out soon.
Amazing.
So, anything else? Anything else? This has been a dope convo. I'm
No,
excited.
like glad we got to go deeper today. Shout out to Clipper. Find your distribution angle, and I'm excited to be a part of your all's growth narrative as well. So looking forward to learning more with you here.
Appreciate you and appreciate everybody that stopped by. Gerald, Emmy, Umar Tira, Emmy, was Emmy again, TM, all you guys, Simon, big Simon the GOAT. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are out of here. Peace.